Cancer, the fourth sign of the zodiac, is ruled by the moon, the celestial body that governs our emotions, instincts, and our inner world. Cancer is deeply connected to the ebb and flow of emotions, much like the tides it symbolizes. It is a sign that feels its way through life, guided not by intellect or logic, but by an innate sense of intuition. Cancer is not concerned with superficial appearances or material success. It is about depth, emotional depth, the depth of connection, and the depth of self-awareness. Where Aries is the spark of initiation and Taurus is the solid ground beneath our feet, Cancer is the emotional foundation, the sign that holds space for nurturing, protecting, and caring for what matters most. Cancer teaches us that true strength lies in the ability to protect and care, to create a safe harbor amidst the storm. Cancer's energy is quiet, yet its influence is deeply felt, as it shapes how we care for ourselves and others. But Cancer is also a paradox, ruled by the emotional, intuitive world yet deeply anchored in the material, the physical, the tangible. This duality is at the core of Cancer's complex nature. It is a sign that feels everything deeply but often keeps its feelings hidden, protected from the harshness of the world. At its best, Cancer is the ultimate nurturer, the mother, the caregiver, the protector. At its most challenged, Cancer can retreat into isolation, held back by emotional vulnerability and the fear of being hurt. Cancer is often misunderstood as simply sensitive or overly emotional, but this doesn't capture the full range of Cancer's spirit. The true nature of Cancer is much deeper and more nuanced, shaped by its connection to both the feminine and the cosmic. Cancer embodies a unique energy that invites us to connect with the world on an emotional level, yet also helps us find strength in vulnerability. The heart of Cancer. At the core of Cancer's personality is an innate desire to nurture. This doesn't always manifest as overt caregiving. Sometimes it appears as a deep sense of emotional protection. They want to care for others, to provide a safe space where people can feel loved, understood, and supported. For Cancer, home is not just a place, it's a feeling. Their home environment is an extension of themselves, cozy, safe, and welcoming. Cancer's love is never conditional, it is steady, unconditional, and accepting. Once they have decided to trust you, they become fiercely loyal, offering their heart and soul in ways that are hard to find elsewhere. This loyalty is what makes them such incredible friends, lovers, and family members. But for Cancer, love is not always an easy path. Their vulnerability is their greatest strength, but it is also their greatest fear. To give so much of themselves to another person is a risk, and this fear can sometimes make Cancer guarded and emotionally distant at first. Intuition and empathy. Cancer is one of the most intuitive signs of the zodiac. They possess a deep, almost psychic ability to understand the emotions and needs of others, even without words. This makes them incredibly empathetic and compassionate, often attuned to the emotional atmosphere of any room they walk into. Cancer has an almost magical ability to sense when something is wrong and instinctively knows how to comfort, offer solace, or just provide a safe listening ear. However, their heightened sensitivity to the emotions of others can sometimes lead them to feel overwhelmed. Cancer can absorb the pain of those around them, taking on the emotional weight of others and carrying it like an anchor. This makes it hard for Cancer to always find their own emotional balance, as they can become too wrapped up in other people's problems and struggles. Moodiness and emotional complexity. Cancer's emotional world is never static. Like the tides, it ebbs and flows, shifting in response to both external events and internal changes. This makes Cancer moody at times, as their feelings can change unexpectedly. What they feel today may not be what they feel tomorrow. This fluidity is part of what makes Cancer so complex and enigmatic. When feeling secure and loved, Cancer can be the most loving, generous, and kind individual. But when they feel threatened, misunderstood, or neglected, they retreat into their shell, closing off from the world around them. This protective instinct is powerful, and breaking through it can be a difficult task. But once they feel safe again, Cancer is capable of immense loyalty and devotion. In relationships, Cancer is one of the most nurturing and protective signs. They approach love and friendship with a deep desire to care for those they hold dear. Cancer craves emotional security, and they often seek partners who can provide them with the stability and reassurance they need to open up. The need for emotional safety. Cancer is highly attuned to the emotional needs of others, but this makes them incredibly sensitive to their own emotional world as well. For them, emotional safety is paramount. They need to feel understood and appreciated by their loved ones, and they can't help but invest deeply in their relationships. However, Cancer is not one to make their feelings known easily. Instead of verbalizing their needs, Cancer often shows love through their actions. Cooking meals, taking care of the details, being there in times of need. Their love is quiet and constant, a gentle, nurturing presence that feels both supportive and comforting. Protection and possession. Cancer's protective instincts extend beyond their family and close friends. They also have a strong tendency to become possessive, especially in romantic relationships. Their fear of loss can manifest as clinginess or emotional dependence. This can be a source of conflict, especially with more independent or freedom-loving partners who may find Cancer's need for constant reassurance stifling. Once Cancer opens up and feels emotionally connected, they become incredibly loyal and devoted. But trust must be earned, and any breach of trust can wound them deeply. Betrayal is something Cancer takes personally and may never fully recover from. Their emotional scars run deep, and it can take a long time for them to let go of past hurt. The more they care, the more vulnerable they are, and this can lead to fear of abandonment or rejection. When it comes to work, Cancer brings a unique combination of empathy and tenacity. They don't work for the recognition or the spotlight. Instead, they are driven by a deep desire to make a difference and to create environments that feel safe and nurturing for themselves and others. The caregiver at work. Cancer thrives in careers that allow them to help others or provide emotional support. They make excellent caregivers, counselors, teachers, and social workers. Their ability to connect emotionally and their genuine desire to make the world a better place fuels their passion for these types of careers. Whether they're working with children, the elderly, or those in need of guidance, Cancer finds deep fulfillment in roles that require compassion and empathy. Security and stability. While Cancer is emotionally driven, they also crave financial security and stability. They are unlikely to jump into risky ventures or abandon their steady income for a whim. They take a careful, measured approach to career decisions, seeking positions that offer long-term stability and security. This also means that Cancer can struggle with change or uncertainty in their work environment. They are creatures of habit and do not like to be uprooted from what feels familiar. However, Cancer can be incredibly driven when they feel emotionally connected to their work. Their natural intuition and ability to sense what others need allow them to excel in roles that require both empathy and insight. Cancer is capable of dedicating themselves wholeheartedly to a cause, and when they feel aligned with their job, their commitment is unwavering. The symbol for Cancer is the crab, a creature that both retreats into its shell for protection and ventures into the world with slow, deliberate movements. This represents Cancer's dual nature, a longing for connection paired with a need for emotional security and retreat. The crab's hard shell provides a metaphor for Cancer's emotional armor. They can be soft, gentle, and nurturing inside, but their outer shell provides protection against the world's harshness. In mythology, Cancer is tied to the story of Hera's sacred crab, who helped the goddess in her fight against Heracles. The crab's tenacity and fierce loyalty make it a fitting symbol for Cancer's personality. Always loyal, always ready to protect, but often retreating into safety when threatened. Cancer rules the chest, the stomach, and the breasts. These areas of the body are particularly sensitive for Cancer, and they often carry emotional tension in these parts. The heart is where Cancer's deepest emotions reside, and they often experience strong physical sensations in their chest when their emotions are stirred. This makes Cancer particularly sensitive to stress and emotional overwhelm, which can manifest as digestive issues or tension in the upper body. Cancer's evolutionary journey is one of learning how to let go. While they are natural nurturers, their challenge is to balance the need to care for others with the need to care for themselves. As Cancer evolves, they learn to trust their own emotions, to allow their feelings to flow freely without clinging or holding on to old wounds. They find strength in their vulnerability and become emotionally resilient, able to create nurturing environments not just for others, but for themselves as well. The evolutionary path of Cancer revolves around learning to balance their need for emotional security with the ability to embrace vulnerability. In the beginning, Cancer can be overly protective, both of themselves and others, sometimes retreating into their shells when they feel threatened. Their journey is one of emotional self-awareness, learning that true emotional strength comes from openness and trust, not just from building walls. As Cancer matures, they evolve into deeply compassionate individuals, capable of nurturing both themselves and others without losing sight of their own needs. Their growth lies in learning to release attachment to the past and finding peace in the present moment, knowing that their strength lies in their ability to care deeply and love unconditionally.